Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Keys to AWS Optimization, where today we are looking at Pricing Calculator, not the old one necessarily, but we'll be looking at the new and improved one that came out last year. And we're having a bit of a crossover week with Matt joining us. How you doing, Matt?
I'm great. How are you doing, Steph?
I'm good because Savannah was on Matt's show on Monday. What did you guys talk about on the show?
We talked about cost allocation and ended up doing a lot of kind of discussion about RIs and savings plans in general as well, because we got some good questions. So it was great.
Nice. So we'll come back to Matt's show in a minute. But before we do, I've got to get into our normal question, which is, have you had a frugal week or a splurgy week? Let us know in the chat what your week has been like. But Matt, frugal or splurgy for you?
It's been a frugal week for me. I've honestly, I haven't done any real spendy spend in a while, like this week at least. So most thing I purchased was a new video game. That's it.
Oh, nice. What was the game?
It's called Claire Obscure. It's like this new RPG that's been around for a couple months. So if folks know about it, let me know how it is in the chat.
Any gamers accidentally tuned in to our show. They don't. Savannah, what about you?
It's been a splurgy week for me, Steph. Hate to admit it. We've had some friends visiting from Maine who have been around for, I think, 4 or 5 days, but they used to live here. So we've been doing the rounds and like hitting all the old favorite restaurants and all the old favorite breweries, which, yeah, definitely not as frugal as usual.
Well, the memories. It's good for that. Yeah, I feel like I was at the weekend, I was visiting some friends who are moving to Australia, so not frugal for them, but it was their like leaving party and engagement party. But we've done it before, but we just go to my friend's parents' house and we just stay there all day and all night and like play games, and it's very frugal. And we played, do you guys have the game Werewolf? Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
I've only ever like heard of it. I never played, but I'm a terrible liar, and so I was really panicked about it. But I ended up being the werewolf twice and winning, and I was like really going out there with the lies, and I was committing to the bit. So it was very funny.
Wow, I didn't think that you'd be a good werewolf.
That's so wholesome.
Wow.
That your like competitive spirit collided with your like inability and unwillingness to lie, but you were able to still be the werewolf.
And I also, the first round, guessed who the werewolves were immediately by people's like reactions to their cards. And also it just like people reacting. And I was like, I knew that you were this. And they're like, how? I was like, the way you looked at your card, that you immediately did something. And I was like, and then I also boldly said I was a different character in the last round. And then my friend's girlfriend was like, no, I am. And I was like, I am. What are you talking about? And it was just like this lying game. Anyways, off track, another podcast, Live Werewolf. Let us know in the chat if you would want to. So let's get into it. So welcome everyone to the Keys to AWS Optimization, the show we share stories, concepts, and solutions to help you unlock your spend at AWS. My name is Steph Gooch, a senior SA advocate here to help you on your FinOps journey. Savannah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Savannah Jensen. I am a senior cloud FinOps architect on the Optics team.
Brilliant. And Matt, it's been a while. Wait, when were you last on? I'm trying to remember.
I think it was like a long time ago.
A long time ago. I think we should do a 1-minute origin story for the folks who don't know who you are.
Yeah, so I'm at Burke. I'm a principal TAM located in New York. I've been at Amazon for about 6 years now. So if you don't work with technical account managers, we come as part of enterprise support. We help you with not just your support cases, but help you architect your applications in the cloud to be cost optimized, to be for performance, for operational excellence. So we're really here, your stewards within AWS, to help whatever applications you're currently running, help them run smoothly. So I was on the show, I don't know, it could be 3 years ago already, Steph.
Who knows?
I don't even know. And then now I have my own show on Mondays on the Twitch channel, which Savannah was on. And so it's called AWS Tech Tales.
What do you cover on the show normally? Because obviously you are, I think of you as like the CFM guy who runs the TFC in Amazon, but this kind of covers lots of different things, right?
Yeah, so another part of my role here at Amazon is I'm our community lead for CFM/FinOps within Amazon. But my show was more of the idea is that we all have a lot of stories to tell in terms of things that we're troubleshooting or big issues that occur. So the tech tales is where we talk about real life customer problems and what you can do to solve them. So typically we'll do either stories from the field from our SAs and TAMs that have encountered some crazy issues and they want to demonstrate it and show how you can fix it, or we'll do some live troubleshooting. Or recently on the show, we've just been doing some vibe coding demos and trying to like understand what things look like from someone that's a new developer in AWS.
Nice. And so I have a quick poll for the folks. Have you seen Matt's show? 1 for yes, 2 for once or twice. Oh, sorry. 1 for low fan. 2 I'm so used to saying the same thing every single time. Low fan, once or twice. Never heard it, but excited to learn. Just drop a number in the chat to see it, so we can see who said it. So some loyal fans already, which is great.
That's good.
I don't know if that's just Matt putting his own numbers in. Do we know?
No. I swear, I'm not cooking the books.
Let us know. It'll be fun to see if there's much crossover. But yeah, hopefully go check out Matt's show. What time do you stream on Mondays, Matt?
So we are airing 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, so later in the day. But it's also, you can catch us on the repeat. You can find this week's episode down here, either if you're streaming on YouTube or Twitch. Like, we're there. Yeah. It's called The Tale of Savings Plan Allocations, and every episode is called The Tale of X, Y, or Z.
Nice. Do you like come up with creative names for them, or is it just kind of The Tale of? Do you do any puns? Because I know Savannah loves a pun when she does her sessions.
Sometimes I'll do alliteration. Like we kicked off this season this year with The Tale of S3 Metadata Magic, which I thought was fun. But sometimes it's hard, especially with guests, to try to find something witty. So I kind of just at the last minute, I'm like, okay, it's going to be on SageMaker Canvas. Okay, bye.
Excellent.
Do you do Halloween costumes? We love Halloween costumes, but I feel like you could do some good like animal costumes with tail or something.
We did last year our Halloween episode. My co-host and I, Samara, we were like trying to coordinate it for a while because it was on Halloween, and because we were also on Thursdays last year, like you, and we both got skeleton costumes and we were in full skeleton garb. So that replay is out there. So
love it.
Yeah, we need to get thinking ahead and see what.
Yeah, I know it's coming up. It's coming up.
Think about it. It's going to be here before we know it. We planned that far in advance. All right, a couple of things from the chat. It's back to school, so new notebooks. I love it, of course, that time of year. And Werewolf is fun. Yeah, I've never played it before. Has anyone heard of the Traitors TV show as well? That's like based on that, and it's like a massive sensation, isn't it? Everything. Cosplayer's here. Hey, Cosplayer. Guys, please put any comments. Oh, Halloween is a lifestyle. Those people that invested in the was it the Target giant skeletons? The
Home Depot skeleton.
Yeah.
Don't get me started, Steph. This is an argument that we have every year because now
do you hate the Home Depot skeleton?
No, I love it, but apparently someone thinks there's not enough storage space for us to store it the rest of the year. So we've not yet gotten it.
I think you need a communal storage unit for like your neighbors, and then you all stick all your Christmas and Halloween stuff in there. Like, it shouldn't be that bad if you all split it.
I
thought you were going to say like a place where all of the skeletons just go and they just hang out.
There are a couple houses in my neighborhood that just have them up year round and put different hats on them depending on the holiday. Yeah. So like there's one that has like the big America like Uncle Sam hat during the 4th of July, and it just rotates. So we could also do that.
You know, there's options. You've got a yard now, you can do it. Right, so let's get into today's actual topic of a pricing calculator. Throughout, like I said, guys, any comments, questions, pop them in the chat. But Matt, do you want to give a brief summary of, in case anybody doesn't know what pricing calculator is, what it is, and then we'll kind of dive into the old one versus the new one and stuff like that in a bit.
Yeah, I love the AWS services that are named that you know exactly what they do, and this is one of them. So AWS Pricing Calculator has lived on calculator.aws for years now, and it's been one of the few services that you could access without an AWS account. So if you just wanted to create an estimate for where your costs could be for a particular workload, application, anything you're trying to do, you can do that in the pricing calculator. And so we can talk a little bit about what that looks like still today, and then what the new experience looks like afterwards.
I have a question for you guys, and I don't know when it went away, but do you guys remember the simple monthly calculator, like pre-pricing calculator?
Yes, but what was it? I now can't. I remember the name, but you don't like. But I'm just like I remember the name of it, but I don't know what it is.
It almost looked like you were remembering an old friend, Steph.
Yeah. I haven't heard that name in years.
That's so funny. What is it?
Yeah, it was just like the prior pricing calculator. It had a very different UI and I think like a limited service selection. But there was a time when both existed, and I would always like
wait.
both
No.
for different things.
Let's if you want to bring my thing, I'll show you what it looked like. We're going back to 2007.
Oh,
Whoa.
yeah.
So this is pretty exciting. Oh, see, it just pulls you here now. If you click on that, I wanted to see that if I go to the image. Let's see if I open image, a new tab. This is beautiful.
The old logo.
Beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
I was
Don't
actually
make us
talking
laugh,
about deprecating some of these blogs because
I
really
should leave them up. I love it. I love it when I'm just looking through history. And sometimes
this is
my
what
customers
happens. You get this note.
Yeah.
And then we say, okay, what's your TCO calculator? Okay, then it pulls you here. So we're still in good space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Update, annotate, but I like the lore. I like the history.
So wait, does it take you to the old pricing calculator? Well, not the old.
This is gone.
The middle.
Yes, it goes to the middle. Yes, which is still good because this segues into where I was going with it, which is that if you didn't even know that there was some new version of pricing calculator, you get two options here. You get create an estimate, which will basically be the old version. And then you've got the already an AWS customer log into the AWS console, which is taking you now to the new version.
Ah, I see. So the creating an estimate would just be for, like, if you've never done it and you were like, oh, I wonder what would happen if I started to spend some money on AWS.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like, it would be weird in a way to have a version, like you needed an account in order to understand how much you're going to spend in your AWS account.
Yeah,
like you need some of this.
It does make sense.
Like.
Also, not everybody has billing permissions, right? So.
Oh, of course, and that's where it obviously is located. So, Matt, do you want to go through some of the old version kind of demo stuff first?
Yeah. So again, this is available to anybody. Right now, go to Calculator AWS if you want to click around if this is one of your weird hobbies. But please let me know in the chat, like if there's any services you'd like to see us estimate. While we're doing that, just gonna do some EC2 just to simply start. So you have every service here, everything from, I was actually talking with a coworker, like you got ground truth, you've got, I don't know, let's see, like media, elemental tailor, media, like pretty much any service you can think of is here for you to understand what the pricing is. Now you can always go to the public pricing page for each of these individual services, but the true power of the calculator is when you're using multiple services in multiple regions and you're trying to understand what your total cost monthly impact would be, or even yearly impact or upfront cost, that would all be here. So it can be a bit overwhelming if you're just starting with AWS because, hey, I just want to spin up some boxes. And now we're asking you all these things that you may not know, which is, what's the tenancy? What's the operating system? What type of workload usage? Let's say it's a weekly spike traffic. What's your baseline? What's your peak? So we're really trying to help you estimate and think about what a cloud application is, as opposed to, hey, I just need a box and a rack.
Yeah, you're right. It's making you think, because there's the problem I think I even used to have when I would first use it was I would just put in like the bare minimum, but I wasn't really considering some of the details. Like if you go to more advanced concepts, it gets a little bit more like, oh, what do I actually going to use? And then sometimes it's going to be unpredictable because that's the point of cloud. It's meant to be flexible and unpredictable and allow you that if you wanted to do static, you go on-prem. So you can obviously do some commitment options here. This, I don't know if anyone's ever had this before, but we would also have people would use this when we were at my company, and they would always choose compute savings plans. And then it'd be like, oh, the application's not going to cost very much because I have the commitments. But of course, commitments, you can't control where they go unless you buy them in that individual account. And so people it would cost way more because it would go kind of centrally. So be kind of mindful of that. But to find any other advice when someone is like new and just kind of having a play around, that they should be wary of stuff in this kind of a thing?
Yeah, I think if you scroll back up a little bit, the thing that I've really enjoyed about this tool when I'm having conversations with customers who are newer to AWS is it does help you with some of that instance selection as well. If you're not familiar with what an M7i is, you can select the CPU and the memory and the network performance there, and it'll kind of help you prune. So I've found that to be really helpful as people are trying to like get a feel for what something could look like on AWS. And then if you are part of an organization that already uses AWS, this ties into what Steph just mentioned as well. I would always recommend reaching out to your FinOps team to see how they manage those commitments and what they would recommend you do. I've seen some folks essentially always recommend that they create an on-demand estimate and then flag it as on-demand. And then I know some organizations who maintain like a compute savings plan at the top level. So they just tell everybody to default into 3-year no upfront or 3-year all upfront pricing based on what's already in the account. So as much information as you can get about your own group, the better.
Sure. And Matt, when you did the GP, sorry, the volume, did you choose GP3 or did it just auto do that for you?
I think it auto did it for me. Yeah.
No, sorry. Because not always, and as some of you have seen, I've been doing a lot of Q episodes. At the moment, Q doesn't always default to things like that. So it's nice to see that in here, and I think in the normal kind of services it does, which is a kind of useful starting point. Okay, cool. So added all this in. Anything else we need to do?
No, we can just, again, we're just playing around here. So I created, so we have this estimate so far of the EC2. We can pick a different service. I don't know if anyone has asked for anything in the chat. Savannah was asking me earlier to do some S3, which is fun because you get to toggle all the different.
Oh, how much you'll put into it.
Or just like which classes you want. So let's say I want a terabyte of intelligent tiering. And let's say maybe 20% hasn't been accessed. 5%.
Oh, wow, you have to think about
elements.
Yeah, which is, and I don't think, I'd love to know if anyone in the chat has actually like, who uses this in their process, and we'll kind of come back to advice on doing that in a bit. But you can add in these kind of things.
No, I'm trying to get to 100.
Oh no, it's the quick maths.
It's the quick math.
Arithmetic, no.
I'm at 45.
That's 65.
65, yeah.
And then again, there's a lot. There's a lot of things that come into play here. Yeah. Especially like when you're thinking of, you're just like, hey, I just want to store a terabyte, and then there's a lot of considerations to make. So this will help you walk through some of those considerations. Let's do one more quick, because again, we can do this in a different.
Someone said Lambda, by the way.
Oh, let's do Lambda. Lambda is an interesting one because it doesn't really cost much.
Yeah.
But this will help us later in our understanding what the because here's what it's also asking is like, you want to include the free tier or not without the free tier? Because for most folks, the million free requests per month,
that's
you're not going to be spending much.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's say we go 2 million a month. That way we're exiting the free tier, and then this takes about 150 milliseconds or so. And then let's give it. Okay, it's saying. Let's give it about 256 MB. Blah blah. And then again, I'm not going to do provision concurrency.
Security things always like, you need this. I'm like, I don't think I do.
So what have we got so far? This is what my estimate. Let's see. Keys estimate. So you can change the name, obviously. And then you've got your services here. You can create a group. So if I wanted to say compute group, I can add services into that group. Or I move, let's see, EC2 and Lambda, move it to compute. So fairly simple.
Oh, a group within the estimate as well.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And
if you had applications or environments, you could just drop those things in there.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still like, if you look at my group, it's kind of just, it's just these services. It's
just a folder, yeah.
Yeah. And I could label it if I wanted to. And then you're kind of broken out into this bigger version of what we were doing before. But so that's what the calculator is like. And when you're done, you can, let's say if you wanted to, you could add support. Let's say if you wanted to estimate like your business support or enterprise support in the calculator, we're not going to do that. And then you basically have 3 options to export. You can give someone a CSV. I don't know what they're going to do with a JSON, but when you're building applications.
If someone's like, if you're going to export it, maybe they might use Q to build the actual thing and see what it looks like. You never know with these things. Someone's put, can you save this?
Yeah, so essentially it's CSV, PDF, JSON, or you can share. And so that's the collaboration here, where I can get a public link and I can just email my coworker, my boss. Yeah, here's the link to the estimate. The link will expire after a year, which is more than enough time to understand like what my cost impact would be. And so this go ahead.
I've used this so many times when my customer was scoping out migrations for different things. Because they're like, well, I don't really know where to start. So I'll like build out a framework or like put a couple services in there and then send the link and say, hey, is this like looking like what you'd expect or like what you think you would do? And then they can take that link and then continue to build off of it and show their management or, whoever is approving. So it's really handy. I love that share option.
Cool. And we had a question which was, can you create a template of sorts with some standard things and pull it back in and make changes to it?
Yeah, so I would say like you got this duplicate feature. So you can, create some sort of template, duplicate what you've got, share this thing out to other folks. But we'll talk about what the
new and exciting one. Some small other questions that we'll cover, and then we'll jump into the new version. So if you're joining us on partway through, we're talking about Pricing Calculator. That was the old version, the external version where you don't need an Amazon account for it. We're going to jump into the one in the console, which has some exciting newer features. But 2 kind of questions. Do you have to pay for the new Pricing Calculator?
No. No, you do not.
Well, so there is some nuance to it, but I'll talk about when we get there. For everything we've shown so far, that's all free.
And then this one I think is going to be a segue into the new one. Can you add things based on existing usage in the account and make changes to see some differences? I thought this person knew what we were going to chat about.
Yeah, I think the chat's getting ahead of us. That's great. Thank you for the tee up.
All right, let's bring up your screen and we'll dive into it. But before we do that, do you want to kind of caveat anything about the new version before we kind of dive into the demo?
No, I think we can hit those points as we go through. Yeah. So again, we've got this estimate we create on calculator.aws. And let's say we wanted to then migrate this into the new version. So this is where Pricing Calculator lives. Pricing Calculator, the new version, and you can even see it when you go to calculator.aws. Again, I'll bring it up one last time, which is log into the AWS console. It will bring you to this page. So it lives here in this budgets and planning section, along with your budgets, your budget report, and your pricing calculator. I'm going to make this a bit bigger for folks. So it'll give you a little bit of details. Now, for most of the folks that are maybe joining, if you create a workload estimate, it's just going to say before discounts. But part of the reason why we're building this is that if your organization does have discounts, you can apply those discount rates here. So oftentimes you might, especially at a large customer or an enterprise, use calculator at AWS. Great. This estimate isn't inclusive of any discounts that you might have. So someone's got to go in and decide how they want to actually forecast that. With the new pricing calculator, you won't see it on my account because I'm paying public pricing like most of you out there. But there is an option here for that. And it'll even say here, before discounts, after discounts, or the after discounts and commitment. So as Savannah was saying before about this idea that like do I put this as on demand? Do I put it as savings plans? That after discounts and commitments would then give you pricing based on what your organization has already put together.
Nice.
Because it's authenticated and because it's in the console, it's also aware of everything else that's already going on in there, which is really the big value prop for this one.
So what's also cool about this is that there's multiple ways that you're not going to start from scratch. I think that we all hate working on a blank screen and say, okay. And like one of the commenters said, like, is there some way to templatize this? Now you could, build this all out nice, and then share it, or duplicate it and go that way. But what is cool is that if I wanted to add usage, there's new services, which is basically what we just did in Calculator at AWS. There's historical usage for my account, which we'll talk about in a moment. But then there's this previously saved estimate. So if you felt like you just wanted to do something quick, you didn't want to log in, I can just put my estimate ID in here, pick the account it's going to run in, and then I can create a group. So I'm going to create my calculator group, and it's going to import all that stuff we just did.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize.
Oh, wait, actually, this is from the other. Hold on. Let me make sure.
Wait, that's from the the smaller one.
This one, because that's not this is from my testing. Hold on. So let's try it again.
Rewind.
Calculator. So this, 12 items. Okay, so here's our EC2 that we built. Here's our S3 that we built. And what's nice about this too, and this is something that I think has been as we've been updating the service, you can group this by the account it's going to run in, by the region it's running in, by the usage group, which I feel like is kind of the most confusing thing. Because unless you're really into Cost Explorer and you read this all the time, this can be a bit of gobbledygook. But then service is super helpful.
Oh, okay. I thought when you said usage group as well, I also assumed that you meant group, like the group you just made. So good to see that. This is
this is the group I just made, but then still I can do it by service, and that's probably the easiest to deal with it. So you can view this any way you like, and then so I've got this new S3 bucket I'm building. I've got this new M7i Flex Larges that I'm deploying, and let's say I wanted to. This is being added to an existing workload. So I could go into historical usage of my account. You can pick whichever dates you want. I'm going to go back a bit because I had some interesting usage, probably, I don't know, let's say December of last year.
Is it just for 1 month? Or you can set to 13 months. So you can do that and it will probably apply the average, right?
No, it'll pull the usage data from each of those months. So you can pick what you want to pull in. So I want to pull in, for example, I have some FSX usage that I want to pull in. I'm going to put storage, and then it'll give you a preview. So this is just my backup usage, for instance.
Zero cost. So
big spender.
Yeah, big spender. There should be more, but if I was just to say, for example, even just let's go back to June, for instance. I don't have that much, but let's say I've got account usage in my linked account. And you can see everything that's going on. I have some QuickSight, some CloudTrail. So I'm not going to import any of this, but you can kind of see it's pulling everything that I'm paying for. And we can go by the cost too. So
I think it's probably a per page cost filter.
Yeah. So
there's a whole 7 cents there.
I know. Big spend. But if let's say, I guess something I know I'm spending a decent amount of money on this is QuickSight usage. So for example, if I was to pull in again, you can do this by tag.
So you can do quite a lot of things, right? So the account we just covered, the thing, Savannah, do you want to remind everyone what cost categories are?
Yeah, they're a great way to categorize costs. Another very literal name.
Love those things. Yeah. Sometimes when there's some services and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. What is this? And then other ones are like, I'm going to lay it on the table. Like if you optimize it, I'm going to compute optimize.
So yeah, I've got my quick site usage now in here. So I didn't have to manually enter anything. And you can see it says historical here as well.
So you can see the difference.
You can also remove these too if you want to pull in some and then only keep a few of them.
Yeah, you can delete.
Interesting. Someone's put definitely trying this out tomorrow. Great to see.
Nice.
What tomorrow? Do today. Not now though, because obviously you're hanging out with us right now.
So the one thing you can also do now is we got asked, what about editing existing usage? So now I'm not starting from scratch. I can say like, hey, this is just for some, this is saying 815 of user. I can just say like it's one user. I can delete this, change it. I can also, for example, change what region it's running in. Maybe there's different regional pricing in Sydney, for example. And so now it'll say it's modified.
Did you just say Sydney because the person is in Australia? Who said that?
No.
CB_C is like, I'm in Australia. That's why it's night time. It's like, fair enough.
But yeah, so
you said Sydney.
No, yeah. So why would I want to edit existing usage? So like, let's say, for example, you were trying to estimate the cost of a migration from one region to another, or if you're doing DR from one region to another. So instead of having to start from scratch and like click through all these different, if you're going to add new services, okay, well, I got to go add, okay, it's in this new region, which is in, let's say US West 2. And, okay, now I got to add my EC2. I got to add my storage. I got to add my networking. You can just import all of that, edit it to the new region, and then you're done. And you don't have to worry about like any of those individual costs or adding that all together. So I think that's super helpful. Or if you're like trying to forecast something going up or going down based on your usage, you can make those edits, again, not starting from scratch.
Wait, can you just say that again? So you can take a usage and then change it to be something different. So if you migrate to a different region or if you change the service. So if you went from your 7x flex, whatever it was, you could change that as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, it's helpful if folks have like peak events or like peak season where they have an infrastructure that's like pre-built and waiting for the traffic to come through. And then they can basically pull all of this in and say, well, we expect that as soon as this goes live, we're going to see like 100x the traffic that we're seeing now with our testing. You can just go in there and edit those and push it up to 100 and take a look.
Nice. Kind of forecast that flexibility.
So a couple things that you have access to do with these new reports is you can say what the expiration date is. Oh, all right. Now I'm getting signed out. Hold on.
No.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I'll take it down.
Yeah.
But we had a question as well while you're re-logging in. Can you do this with usage in multiple or a group of linked accounts? So if you're in the payer, you can see multiple accounts, right, Savannah?
Yep. Yeah, the creation menu that Matt was clicking through before when he kind of opened up the drop down, it showed all his linked accounts, and you can pull in one or multiple, or based on cost category if you've categorized your linked accounts into business unit labels.
If you've done a good job and done that. All right.
So yeah, you can go in here and pick anything from account, and you'll see, again, if you're in the payer, you can pick from any account that's in your org. If you're just in your own account, then it's just going to do that. And it's really for that more mental model, or let's say these accounts have some sort of commitment in them that may or may not apply. Like we're taking into account all of that logic. So when you're ready, when you're done with your estimate, you got a couple options here. You can change what the expiration is so that like maybe this is only going to be valid for a month. Maybe you want it to be valid for a couple months. Like that's helpful in terms of prices can change, or your discounts might change or your commitments might change. So these things should be a point in time reference. And then you can export. So you can make a CSV, you can make a JSON, or what's kind of interesting here is that if you created an estimate and someone else has access to the account, that estimate will also be there. So there's no necessarily like concept of sharing, but it is existing within the account itself. So if there's a ton of these and it's a multi-user, multi-tenant account, then you'll just see a ton of workload estimates in the list. Like for example, with where's the other one? Over here, and this is a shared account with all these different ones. I didn't create any of these estimates.
No.
But this is what we've been testing.
Sneaking looking at my estimates. Very cool. I don't know if we said this. What's the difference between workload estimate and bill estimates?
Oh, that's a great tip.
Oh, that's a good question.
So let's say if you're just doing a workload, you just want to get the cost of a particular workload, great. Workload estimate is where you go. That's, again, analogous to what you're going to get in calculator.aws, but you're going to get the new features, which is you're going to be able to import that existing usage. You're going to be able to edit and modify the existing usage, and it can be inclusive of any discounts or commitments that you have. Now, when we get to bill estimate, now we're getting into this what if scenario modeling. So we were talking about before, okay, do I do this at on demand? Do I do this at a savings plan rate? And what's interesting is if we go back to the estimate that we were making here, and I go to add, let's say, some more EC2, for example, in my account, it'll look a little different than what we did in Calculator AWS. So, for example, I don't want ECR. I'm going to add to my compute group or my calculator group. And I'll use this template for EC2. And you'll see here, it's asking me about, EC2 instances, what type of instance. It's asking me about snapshots. It's asking me about storage, asking about data transfer. Again, you can uncheck these things if you don't want to do them. Metrics, outbound. But it doesn't ask me about savings plans or RI rates. It's not giving me that option here. And that's because either we are doing your workload estimate inclusive of your commitments, or what we actually expect is that if you want to run an estimate to see what this would look like, you're going to use this bill estimate instead.
Okay.
So I'll stop there. So first, any questions on that? Because it's a little bit, it's a different way of thinking.
I think one of our chat questions is actually like related to this a little bit.
Importing estimate one.
Yes.
Okay, this is a big question.
It's long, but it's talking about essentially like layering savings plan usage on top of the estimate, which is what the bill scenarios
I like ZBC.
let us do.
Yeah. So this is exactly what we want to do. So there's two things here. There's bill scenarios and bill estimates. Bill scenario is where you build everything together, and an estimate is what it spits out. So we can create a bill scenario. And so here is where you make those tests. So I'm using this account that I stole from Steph because it's got a $1 savings plan in it already.
I'm the big spender now.
Yeah.
So it's already auto importing. Again, we're in the payer account, auto importing all the different commitments that you might have. So now the question is, if I add new services or import historical usage or add this new estimate. So I'm going to add in the calculator.aws estimate that I had. I'm going to put it, let's say, put this in the linked account, add it to new workload. I'm going to import these EC2 usage, right? And so the assumption here is that this compute savings plan would cover my usage, but how much? How would I know? So I could just create a report, and it's going to take a little bit of time to run. So it's in progress.
Is there so this one assumes that the savings plan will take effect on it, right?
So you can add other savings plans during that like UI piece that Matt was walking through. Essentially what it's doing is it says, here's all of the usage that you've added. Here's your existing savings plan. Here's anything else that you added on top. Given all of that, I'm going to look through your entire like situation that you've created and like compute a bill.
Ah, I see. But this doesn't take into consideration that there might be other spend that the savings plan goes to, because that's almost impossible to plan.
No, it
right?
does.
No, it does.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out if that dollar is going to apply or not, basically.
Oh, but there might be other things. Okay, so if you, because your instance type that you chose was a crazy big
M7i Flex, yeah.
Large.
Yeah, it's a big question.
So it's definitely more than it's not more than $1 each, but together.
But it's good. It's going to be big, but it also will probably have the bigger discount, right? So compared to my M5X or M5,
yes, it should take priority.
It should take priority. Oh, interesting. And it's based on the account that you selected earlier, right? That single account. Interesting.
So again, while we're waiting for it to output, I could add more savings plans. So let's say I wanted to add an EC2 instance savings plan, because I know, for example, that these are running in US East 1. Well, this is giving me all the local zones too. I'm not used to scrolling through everything. And then I know this is an M7. I do know up front. I'm going to do $1 an hour. So I can add this as net new. And you can do the same thing for like other services. So for like an RI. So if we wanted to do US East 1 and RDS really quick, add it to a database group. Let's do SQL Server, and it'll be, I don't know, let's pick something, an M4 large. Single AZ, license included, standard SQL, 2 nodes. Now uncheck all the rest of this.
Don't need it. Nice. Simple. I just realized we've just got about 15 minutes left. The time has flown by. See if it's calculation.
I don't want this one. Keep missing things.
Oh, up.
But I unchecked. Oh no. I thought I unchecked all of these. Come on. Here we go. So now we've got this RDS, and I could add a reserved instance for it. It's only giving me EC2.
We're not going to do that. Oh, it's because have you only got EC2 in your? Oh wait, you just added.
Yeah, I've only got EC2 in my usage.
Oh, it's probably still computing, I think.
Yeah. So let's go back, for instance. So anyway, this is still computing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they take a while.
They're thinking it through.
Again, glancing at the chat, the other thing that you might consider if you are looking at like what if analysis for savings plans is savings plan purchase analyzer. It's a little bit outside of the scope of the call, but it does give you that ability to look back over your prior usage and kind of do that play of what if I added another $5? What if I added another $2?
But this one, scope of the call.
Yeah, scope of the. It's kind of a call.
It is kind of a call.
We're
scope of the show.
We're calling in. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like the rule of thumb for SPA is like if you're looking to make a purchase, go to SPA. If you're looking to understand like again the what if scenario, if you're doing some budget modeling, some forecasting of like let's say like this usage isn't going to hit until August, September. Like this usage doesn't exist yet.
Yep.
Do I need to have a savings plan to cover it? Like how is this going to go on demand? You can submit that estimate and find out.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And I've just dropped a link in a chat to a short video about SVA that you can check out.
Nice. Now we just gotta wait for this. So this will take a little bit, and I guess this is a good segue for like we were talking a little bit before about pricing. What's free, what's not free. So again, workload estimate, free. Bill estimate. This is taking a little bit because it is it's recomputing your whole bill. So you get 5 free per month, right? We also don't think you're going to be doing this that often.
Yeah.
Like there's maybe, let's say 5 different scenarios you might do. Like I would use it maybe like once or twice. Again, like you're trying to forecast a big shift. You're trying to understand, do I need more savings plans? Or trying to see like, again, as Savannah said, if you're putting in these big beefy like SAP instances, they're going to suck up all the savings plans. Maybe you want to model that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like 5 should be enough. But if you need to go over, it's going to be $2. Not too crazy, but there is a cost at a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to know because go on, Savannah.
I haven't seen anybody hit that yet.
Yeah.
Like with bill estimates, I feel like I see people do like 1 or 2, but yeah.
But it is good to highlight because I remember when I was a customer, people were like some stuff in the billing console cost money, like the API for Cost Explorer cost money to access it. And so I remember getting a bill for that. And I was like, who's spending money on Cost Explorer? I didn't know you could. And then I found out another team had decided to create a script that would pull their data. And I was like, have you heard of the CUR? We have this. It's fun. But it was good because other people, you never know. Someone's like, oh, I want to try all these scenarios. And they might, people love creating a script to do something, testing a bunch, and you could accidentally spend a bunch of stuff. So yeah, take things just a precautionary note.
And Matt, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think bill estimate is only available through the management account, the payer, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, because we're processing it at the payer level. I guess we can use this as an example while we're waiting for artists to bake. Which is that, again, you're going to get your net difference, which is, I think the net difference was 240, it seems, based on this one.
But yes.
Net change negative 100. So your bill would have gone down based on these compute savings plans, like a 1 year all up front. So this is what the analysis was like, if I changed this no upfront to an all upfront, what would that be? So you'll get this like nice little graph. You'll get the impact on your bill. You get what changed, and then all the savings plans and RIs that were used in the calculation.
Nice. Okay. Before we kind of finish up, we were talking that the last thing we wanted to cover was about how people could actually take this and put it into their development structure, right? So using this at scale, because we're just kind of playing around with it. Hopefully we've inspired. Someone's put in the chat. That's good to hear. It covers everything, and I'm going to take advantage of this. Like if anyone else feels that way, you've got to let me know at costoptimization@amazon.com what you did and how you found it. But what we want to do is we wanted to discuss like at scale, how do you use this? Because it's a cool tool to kind of mess around with, but how do you guys suggest people bring this into their development cycle? Because one thing I was thinking, as Matt, you had all the things for like the RDS, like there's so many boxes, like, oh, let's just untick them. But if you are building something, if you are architecting something, you probably should know those aspects to it, or they should be part of the decision making you have. Maybe not all of them, but they should be a big part about what parameters you're putting in. So hopefully you guys will have this knowledge, or someone will have this knowledge to help fill that in. But yeah, Savannah, when you talk to your customer, because I know you talked to them recently, how have you seen them kind of bring that in at scale for this product?
Yeah. So I would say some of the customers I work with are still earlier in the journey and figuring out exactly how they want to use it. But if I think through like my ideal experience, especially if I'm like newer to AWS or working through a migration, and we actually like kind of used the public pricing calculator for something similar, like back in probably like 2021. Whenever any development team or any team is like requesting funding or approval for a new workload, they would be required to attach one of those estimates. So with public pricing calculator, the public facing one, like you can drop in one of those links like Matt shared, or drop in a spreadsheet if you download the CSV version, right? With this, since it's a little bit more in console, it really allows you to kind of circle back on it after this thing is live, right? So that could be something that you bake into CI/CD pipeline process. It could be something that you have to put in any Jira ticket that you're filing when you create something new. And it can be something that your FinOps team follows up on a year later and says, okay, this is what the estimate said. What does it look like now that it's actually in production? What are the deltas? Was there anything unexpected? Can we learn anything from kind of the changes that we see?
Yeah, that's super clever. It keeps people accountable. And then, like you said, the FinOps team can check in on that over time. Is there a big gap? And if there is, there could have been something unexpected, like that often happens. But is there some kind of education, or how do we close that gap between projects? Maybe there was a like 50% difference, and the next time there's like 25% difference because you've learned like, oh, we actually use these parameters, or oh, we said we were going to take advantage of colder storage tiers and we just have everything in standards, like things like that. You can kind of check against it because it's in your account. What about you, Matt?
So I would say that like what folks are always asking about, I know you're going to cover this on the show in a future episode, but is like how do I use Gen AI? and so
we're going to go a whole episode without mentioning
sorry.
No,
but this is one of those places where like I think most people kind of have a sense of what they need to do. Hey, I need to spin up a database or spin up EC2 in X region, and what would the cost be? And so we've got a lot of ways for you to ask those questions across the board. But the one that I'm starting to play around with that I really like is we have a pricing MCP. And so if you're just starting to build something or you're vibe coding something, and you want to know what the potential cost ramifications are, it's going to look at the price list and do a quick calculation for you. Now, I think that for a more holistic approach, your calculator is going to be better. But if you need that quick gut check in terms of, all right, I'm about to spin up something that's going to cost me like $20 an hour or $40 an hour, like, can you just let me know? And also, I think what I'm liking using QDeveloper for is saying, I want to do this thing. What are the things that I need to know to do it? Like, and then there's a lot of, as you said, there's a lot of steps here. So if you have any questions about any of the individual steps, again, you can use Q. I don't know. That's what I'm finding it for. Like, I've been very like, wait and see on a lot of these tools. And now I think they've gotten over the hump where like, I've found that the ways for them to fit into my workflow isn't about like summarizing information or like editing things for me. It's more just like, hey, there's something that I know how to do, but you can do it quicker for me.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Not having to look through the pricing page. Not that I don't love the pricing page.
We love the pricing page.
They're there for a reason, but
sometimes I want to save it, you know.
Another thing I was thinking, and there's a question on this I'll just come to in a sec, but the idea of going off what you said a minute ago as well, Savannah, is people often say, when I used to, because teams have to make budgets, right? And they often wouldn't know where to start. This is also just something I'd say, if your team's always like, I keep getting my budgets wrong, getting people to do this, definitely encourage, and then kind of connecting back. But we had a question which was, is there an effective method for delivering AWS actual versus budget data to account owners native to AWS, no need for a third party? So I'm guessing like passing that information on. There is obviously the console, but there is a kind of a summary into that I know of, into kind of normal language description.
You could use a budget report too. I think it depends a little bit on like what you mean by budget data there, and like what that looks like out of AWS versus how it's represented in AWS.
Yeah,
because basically, like, if you, go ahead.
I was just say, just if you want to follow up a little bit more with us, then email costoptimization@amazon.com and we'll see if we can find anything. But go on that.
I was gonna say, like, if you've got like, I don't see it this much as often, but like if you've got all your budgets like in AWS budgets and you're creating the budget reports on that, then you're gonna see how you're doing based on your estimates. Now, are you gonna get to that granular level necessarily of like where you're falling short? Like then you may have to double click a bit more. But in terms of just like seeing where the deltas are, that'll help.
Yeah, I've seen people put like a line in the CID as well, or like in a quick site visual.
Yes, yeah. There's also the CID budget. You can use the optimization data collector to pull in budgets data, and then there's the dashboard that has that in, I believe. So check out the Cloud Intelligence dashboards for that.
Oh, we also got budget support in the billing views too, right? So that should help you as well, because oftentimes people are managing this at the top, and then you don't see the budget. So another plug for billing views.
And we got net amortized budgets.
Yes, which is I've been asking for
Beautiful.
since 2019.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. Same. Hard same. So I was stoked about that one.
Brilliant. Okay, on to some last little housekeeping bits. As a kind of glass note, tomorrow, if you're more Mia focused, I am doing a trivia for Builder Productivity on the TNC channel. Head over and check that out on LinkedIn as well. We're giving away credits and a very funky keyboard, I believe. So you can actually get some swag from this show. So I know I'm jealous of the swag. I'm like, can I enter myself? Probably not. But make sure you check that out. If you are thinking, I want to learn about the previous episodes, do we have any kind of summaries? Yes, we do. If you head on over to build.aws.com, you can go to Builder Center and you can see all of our historical shows and any other shows that I do. All of the summaries are in here. So you can drill down and see kind of a little summary of what the episode was about, for example. So when we did the episode on cost, we have key takeaways and a summary of it. So go and check that out. And you can also subscribe. Like and subscribe to that. And finally, if you want to see any of the cool stuff that Savannah and mine's team produces, check out the AWS Customer Acceleration team linked in so that you can kind of stay up to date with all the cool stuff that our team produces. But with that, we have come to the end of the show. Anything else? I would also share Matt's show as well. Matt, last pitch for your show?
Yeah, so AWS Tech Tales Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. It's the show where we talk about real life customer problems, what you can do to solve them. Next week, we're going to actually talk about what if your account was compromised by a crypto miner.
Oh,
there was
you
rumors
just gave
of that
me
happening.
PTSD style flashback to working in support.
Oh my goodness. And with that, we will leave you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, Savannah's covering next week. What are we talking about next week, Savannah?
We are going to be talking about the cost and usage report, but specifically, we're going to be talking about how it's made and what happens inside of it. So pretty excited for that one. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We will see you next time. Have a great week. Bye.